Hi there, everyone. This is Tyler with the House Hack Seattle team in Compass here in the Seattle area. Today, I'm going to be analyzing how to go through and analyze a fourplex deal. I don't know if you've been struggling trying to figure out, what numbers make sense in a market like this. So I just kind of wanted to show you how I pick apart and grab specific investments and kind of walk you through what I do to strategize if it's a good investment or not. So yeah, with that, we can kind of just get started. So first things first, we're going to pull up our filters right here. I got multifamily search going here. We're going to pull all the active King County multifamily property listings. And as you can see, it's interesting to look at. There's 168 actually active multifamily property listings in King County. Most of them are up north, which is typical. Not as much South King County, but that's actually where we're going to analyze our deal today in Auburn, Washington, which is this area here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that filter on. So we're just looking at the multifamily properties in Auburn. And as you can see, there are 13 active multifamily properties in Auburn, Washington. There are currently, out of the amount, there is one that's a triplex. There is 6 that are duplexes, and there are 4, which are the remaining 4, that are fourplexes. And they're all ironically listed at the exact same amount. So when you're pulling comps on what's, available on the market, you can see there's 3 on I Street and 1 on O Street. And we're going to analyze the one on O Street today. They're all very similar. This one's the only one that's a little bit different. But when you're talking price point, they're all very similar. 924 square feet for those units. These ones 924 as well, because they are identical. This one's 741, and at this price point, it's already had $200,000 reduced off the price. It's been on the market for some time, so there might even still be some negotiation work on the 1.15. But when you're scrolling down, looking at the property assessment, each unit is 1,000 square feet, so that makes numbers pretty easy. 3-bed, 1 bath, and these are actually the current rents that you're going to be getting. I did verify through the leases and the listing agent that this is the current leases. So they are getting almost, I would say, market rent for these units, which is fantastic, because that's half the battle is raising rents and trying to get them up to market value, which they've already done. So yeah, let's dive right in and start to analyze this deal. First things first, I'm going to pull up the spreadsheet, which I will share in the description below. You'll get to see how to analyze these deals. You'll see the blue is some stuff you can tweak. That's like purchase price, down payment, interest rates. You can change all of those. The green formatted cells, typically we don't advise to make any adjustments. They're usually aligned with the numbers, but if you want to, it's totally optional to change. And then the black ones that just don't change at all, because you'll break the link if you do try and change those. But yeah, diving into the analyzation of this deal, it's listed at 1.15, which, I mean, for the sake of the numbers, let's just keep that in the purchase price. I put 50,000 less because I think with it being on the market for almost 2 months, there's some opportunity to maybe negotiate on price. But we'll leave it at the list price just for the sake of running through numbers. Your down payment, it's going to look like 25%. So with your down payment and closing costs, if you look over here, you're going to see your total initial investment, right? So it's got your down payment in here, which is $287,500, and then your closing costs, which is just under $20,000. So altogether, you're looking at $307,000 and $307,000. So yeah, I mean, while we're crunching the numbers, you can see that the insurance is listed here at $215 monthly. And that the taxes are $834. And the way I grabbed that number was I just scrolled on down to look at the tax records. You can see they're getting $10,000 annually, and when you divide that by 12, that is going to get you that $834 number. And then you got your water, sewer, garbage, and insurance right here, which I put. The other expenses, 9 times out of 10, is property management, and with that number, I would assume that would be property management. However, let's just pretend for the sake of this deal that you'd be managing the property on your own. We can also look at the numbers if you were to pay a property manager. But yeah, so that's how we got here for step 2. Step 3 would be taking into account all of the current rents. And when you're looking at the analyzation of this deal, you usually want to use some sort of software that'll allow you to pull comps of how they can get these rentals. Like I said, they're pretty close to market rent. I just know that myself. going through it. So what I can do is I pull up Rent-A-Meter here, which I've already done. I plugged in the address. You can look at 3 beds, 1 bath, and then 800 to 1,200 square feet is kind of the range I go with. Sometimes I'll leave it blank just to see some of the comps. So we can go ahead and leave that blank. See what kind of rental data it pulls us. So right now you can see the average is around $2,400, but we will need to see different comps. So the comps are kind of outside of our territory. So I will actually plug in, not that this is going to give us more comps, but I do think this will give us more accurate comps, which you'll see the average is still 2,400. And comp A is actually, I do know this property. This is a single family property. So when you plug this into Zillow, you'll see here that it's a 3-bed, 1 bath, but it's 960 square feet, but it's not attached to any other units. So you're probably going to get a little bit more for rent on this one, which again, they listed it for rent in 2023 for 2,400. So that will probably be a little high. So I'd say, looking back at our numbers, I think 2,300 is kind of right where the estimated rent should be. So we'll keep it at 2,295 since we know for a fact we can get that right now. Unit 4 is already currently paying that, and assuming they're in pretty close to the same condition, and if they're paying this much, they're probably pretty close. We can go ahead and assume that estimated rent would be around 2,300, which is what we have here. In terms of, putting efforts and rehabilitation into this property, I don't think there's a ton of rehab. Obviously, the exterior garage right here is probably going to need to be repaired. It looks like these other ones might also need to be. So the exterior might have some issues. There's a popcorn ceiling, which, assuming it's all functioning correctly, a lot of landlords will try and just raise that down just to make it look nicer, but nothing too intense that I've seen. I haven't looked through the pre-inspection report, nor do I have access to it. But if you were to write an offer, you can definitely take a look at, and see what kind of inspection report is available, or what kind of inspector can get you some more information. But assuming everything is looking great, which it does, we can go ahead and continue to look through our data. Which right here you'll see in step 4, all the expenses, your principal, your interest, your taxes, your insurance, and your PMI. It's all in here. So your monthly payment, like your mortgage, would be $6,500. And then when you're looking through the additional expenses, that's water, sewer, garbage, which we did calculate there. It's $582 a month. You can also find a way to drill into your lease where the tenants are responsible for that. So that could go away in the future, but for now it's not. So we will leave that in there. If you did want property management, you can go ahead and add, I'd say 8 to 10%, maybe even 11% is what you can add. So you're looking at around $750 if you did want to property manage it. But for the sake of this, let's assume you're managing it on your own. And then you'll go ahead and see your reserves are in there as well. We can leave that actually. So your monthly expenses, you can count on around $7,083, which is great because your income is a lot more than that. It's $9,180, and we are running these numbers at a 6.5 interest rate. So when you're analyzing a deal at a 6.5 interest rate in King County, it's very hard to find this number to be green. Typically it's red because things don't really cash flow. So when you see green, that's really good. And when you see 8.2%, that's fantastic. So this is a great cash flowing property. I would say when you're checking out the ROI at 11.4%, that is also great. You're building $35,000 in equity in just the first year. You are bringing in $307,000 to the table. So at this price point, I could see how it could be pretty daunting, depending on how much you do have to bring to the table. But it does cash flow pretty great. And when you're looking at a 3% annual appreciation, which, I think it goes up a lot more than that. But you're looking again, like $35,000 building equity in year 1. And yeah, your cap's at almost an 8%, which is really hard to find. So yeah, I would say overall this deal is great. And like I said, since it's been on the market for some time, because it's been very an interesting market lately, there's not as many buyers I've noticed, or listings really getting a lot of attention. So if you did try and hit that 1.1 number, which again, there's 4 properties that are fourplexes listed at 1.15. So I'm guessing there's a lot of room to negotiate there. So 1.1 we can put as the purchase price. Now you're looking at almost $2,300 a month in cash flow. So yeah, that's my analyzation of this deal on O Street in Auburn. If you want some more details, please let me know. Feel free to message me or book a 15-minute phone call in my link in bio through the Calendly. And I'd be happy to jump on a call with you and kind of walk you through any other properties you might have questions on. And hopefully we can get a conversation going. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video.